Hello there, people of the internet. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about something that's actually very important, not only to me on a pretty hefty personal level, but to a lot of people out there. I'm going to talk to you about why you shouldn't let other people's personal opinions bring you down. I'm going to give legitimate reasons why you shouldn't let that happen. But first, before we do that, today's beverage of choice is Miller High Life. Draft beer in a nice frosted mug. Well, it was frosted about 5 minutes ago, but it's still pretty cold. So, sit back, relax, get comfortable, grab a beer, grab some coffee, grab some wine, grab whatever you want, intake whatever the hell you feel like for the session we have coming up. Because this session actually hits kind of close to home, because this is probably the main thing that makes a lot of people hold themselves back. But before that, I'm thirsty. Okay, now, first off, other people's opinions, especially if it's someone that you not only have no relation to, but you don't care about, you should just block those people out right now. You should decide to yourself right now at this point in time that their opinion means very, very little to you. Now, as a creator for YouTube, I get tons and tons of negative flack from basically complete strangers on the internet, and it's always going to happen. There's no dodging it, because our species as a whole, unless you have literally determined and made the conscious decision to train yourself otherwise, our species as a whole will always seek out negative aspects. Perhaps it's some sort of evolutionary trait that we chase negativity in order to better evolve ourselves. We search for some sort of suffering, or, you know what, that's a whole other tangent in itself. Not caring about other people's opinions. This is not a new concept to me. This is actually a very hard lesson that I learned quite some time ago. My peacock feather here is tickling my head. Get out of here, you. Man, I tell you what, peacocks are gorgeous, but having 5 of them on a piece of property that I do recordings on, it gets annoying. The champagnes of beer. Okay, so, I have no idea when this was, sometime during high school, but I had a friend. She wasn't a girlfriend, but she wasn't not a girlfriend, if you catch my drift. But she was a friend of mine. We'll call her, I don't fucking know, Shannon. We're gonna call her fucking Shannon. Shannon sounds like a bitch name. Shannon. Unless, of course, you're a good Shannon. Because I've met some pretty awesome Shannons in my life, but the bad Shannons I've met, oh man. Anyway, I thought that me and... Oh, hold on a second. There's a massive fucking spider on my ceiling. Wait here. Alright, that's taken care of. I tell you guys what, this is always a massive fight just to maintain social construction around here. I'm gonna need me another beer after that one. You ever kill a spider so hard that you throw out your back? If you've seen the rest of my channel, you know I'm basically out in the sticks, you know, middle of the countryside in Florida. There's some big spiders out here. Okay, so, let's see, we're talking about my friend Shannon. I thought me and Shannon were getting along very well. In fact, I was very certain that we were getting along pretty goddamn well. Things were pretty good. Things were pretty good for quite a while. But just one day I decided to, you know, go talk to her, because I talked to her all the time. It was no big deal to me. And she said something that caught me so off guard that I did not know how to respond. Like what she said to me was so off-putting that I wasn't able to even speak after that. Like, I just kind of walked away. And I remember we had a buddy of mine who tried talking to me about something, but I just, like, completely blurred him out and walked past him. I guess he was upset, and he punched me. And I didn't even fucking feel it. I think another person was like, hey, man, like, lay off the guy. This lady just said this to him. And I'll never forget, like the look of, like, the look on his face. He was like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry I hit you." I'm not upset about that though. I'd punch me too if I just, you know, if I was the guy that had my friend just walk by. But my friend Shannon, what she told me is something I'll never forget. All I did was greet her that day, and she told me, obviously it's something that she had in her mind for a while now, because this, although it just, you know, came out of the blue, it wasn't, you know, just off the top of her head. She obviously knew what she wanted to say to me. She told me that I was a little bit off, and she didn't like it. She said that there was something off about me and it made her uneasy. Okay. I mean, after she told me that, like, yeah, it upset me. It mostly just caught me off guard, but it did upset me. But it didn't really destroy me. But it definitely did get under my skin plenty. Now, the reason it didn't destroy me is because, you know, she was right. I knew she was right. Even back then, I knew she was right. My entire life, I've noticed that I'm personally not someone who blends into a crowd. I get that. It's just who I am. But as time went on, you know, just in the back of my head, to this day, I think about it. It was just something that got under my skin, and it got under my skin good. Like if one of my good friends is saying that and basically just bailing out on everything, you know, how bad am I really? For quite a while there, I kept asking myself, you know, what if I'm just a little too off to really make it in this world? What if there's something just a little too different about me to lead me down a path towards success? Now, I'd be lying if I said this didn't depress me, because it actually depressed me quite a bit. You know, I already had some self-esteem issues at the time, and hearing something like that, like it didn't do me any good. It took me quite a while before, I mean, like I said, I knew she was right, but I never really accepted it. And I think that is what really drove me to the edge. It took me a long time to really accept who I was as a person, and to accept that although it was mean and it did catch me off guard, it was completely accurate. Although this acceptance of this negative situation, or what most people would call a negative situation, my acceptance of it was nothing but positive. Because as soon as I don't remember what I was doing, but I was sitting at a desk somewhere, and I decided to myself, you know what, this is enough. If I'm going to be different, I think I'm going to be a good kind of different. I decided that I was going to be the type of different to not blend in with a crowd. I was going to be the type of different to become the type of person who becomes wealthy, versus the type of person who just follows the sheep into retirement. I did a bit of soul searching after I discovered this, and I figured out a few, not all of them, you know, I'm always going to discover more about myself, but I did discover a few reasons as to why people thought that I was a little off or a little different. One of the biggest things is that I know I'm not right about everything. You know, so many people in this world just assume that their opinion is fact every single time. And they will fight teeth and nail for their opinion to be correct. And they will refuse to learn anything new because they want their opinion to be proper. They pretty much just want their opinion to be law, basically. There's a lot of people out there like that. Well, I'm not like that. I know for a fact I don't know everything. And the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. One of the biggest driving forces for my different nature is the fact that I'm not afraid to really delve into something and learn how to do something. growing up, a lot of people were like, I wish I could do this, or I wish I could do that, or hey, imagine, if we could do this, or imagine how awesome it would be if this happened. But I was the type of person to, be like, hey, that would be awesome to do. I'm going to literally figure out a way to where I can learn how to do that. Like, with guitar, growing up, if you're into rock music and you listen to rock songs on the station, you just imagine yourself going along with it pretty well, and I did the same thing. And me and a friend, I don't know, back whenever I was in middle school or something, me and a friend were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, how awesome would it be if we had the skills at guitar as like Eddie Van Halen did. I think it was Eddie Van Halen he was talking about, but that doesn't matter. And I decided to myself, yeah, that would be freaking rad. So let's do it. And he was like, what? Let's do it. You want to develop those skills? You said it would be awesome. And he was like, yeah, it would be awesome, but I don't want to put up the time and effort to actually go about doing that. And I was like, okay, if that's the type of person you are, then go for it. But that's not the type of person I am. It's that mindset that really set me apart from everyone else, because everyone would always invest their time and effort into pretty much socializing and wasting their time. And I spent my time doing not necessarily productive things, but things to learn. Another big thing about me, even to this day, my emotions, they do drive me. They're a very significant force whenever it comes to moving forward. However, they do not guide me. Logic and reasoning is what guides me. And learning about certain situations is how I'm able to use my emotions to determine my future. But all this soul searching and figuring out who I was and figuring out why I was like that, figuring out the best possible outcomes as to, how someone like me who is like that could figure his way out in this world. All that wouldn't have come around if it wasn't for who I once called my friend, if it wasn't for their pretty rude opinion about me. They're almost unnecessary rude opinion about me, unnecessarily rude. If they didn't tell me their opinion, then who knows? Who knows where I'd be nowadays? Because that right there was definitely one of the turning points in my life. So my advice to anyone out there who lets other people's opinions completely cripple them, if you're ever going to listen to something I have to say, listen right now. Sometimes other people's bad opinions on you is a good thing. Actually, more times than not, it's a good thing. However, if you're not going to use these other people's bad opinions on you to improve yourself, then you may as well just ignore them. Now, this type of thinking definitely does take time and effort, and you gotta focus on it for quite a while. It's not just going to happen like that, unless you're that type of person, and you can just decide to change your life around like that. But don't let other people's opinions drag you down. If you can let them build you up, go for it. By all means, go for it. Use other people's negativity to boost yourself beyond their expectations. But if all they're doing is holding you back, ignore them. Okay, well, I'm gonna finish this beer. Some big spiders around here. I'm gonna finish this beer. Probably turn on some music or something and just relax for the rest of the night. So, thanks for watching, guys. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, comment them down below. Or if you just want to tell me something, perhaps a story of or about yourself. Gotta be careful whenever I'm moving around on the table, because the camera there is very unstable. If you have anything you'd like to tell me, don't be afraid to post it down below. If you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and like the video. I'd like to grow the channel, so by all means, if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. My goal is not to get people to flooding and watch these videos. My goal is to more or less spread the word that these videos teach. So if you have someone out there who's struggling with other people's opinions, and you know for a fact that they are struggling with other people's opinions, and you think this information might be helpful to them, by all means, do not be afraid to relay this to them. You don't even have to bring them to the video to watch it. Just talk to them about it. They're people. Talk to them. But whatever you do, go off and have a fantastic day.